There's a DVD in stores today, brand new today. It's called The Addams Family Volume 1. If you were a kid and raised watching TV like my parents, they basically used the television for a babysitter. The Addams Family was the go-to. You had to watch it every single week, and we have the stars of the Addams Family, the original Addams Family, with us here today.
Joining us again, he's been on the program many, many years ago, John Astin. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun to be back with you guys with, a nice gentle approach to life. and it's, an appropriate wake-up for our City of Angels.
Of course, John played Gomez on the program. Also joining us, Felix Sela, who played Cousin It. Good morning, Felix.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Problem with that microphone, Timmy. And we'll come back to that in a minute. We also have who played Daughter Wednesday, Lisa Loring. Morning,
Hi.
Lisa.
Good morning. How are you?
Welcome to the show. We're
Thank
good.
you.
And also the gentleman who played Pugsley. He told us off air he's been a listener to this program ever since we came on the air, and he's been avoiding us. Mm-hmm. He played Pugsley, Ken Weatherwax. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning, Mark and Brian.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's great having you all on, and can we start with John and just say, I haven't seen you. We haven't seen you in such a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. Where they had the little building,
yes,
the old building. Last time I was with you guys.
No longer.
Such a fan of your body of work.
Thank you. I'm glad you kept going there.
So far, I mean, you're still working out there. How are things going with you?
Very well. I'm enjoying life. My wife Walalea is right here. Valerie is her name.
Hello, Valerie.
Yeah, she's from Hawaii though, so sometimes I call her by Hawaiian name. And we're now living in Baltimore, of all places.
Really?
Yeah,
That's the most like Hawaii of any place to live.
It is. With the exception of Fargo, North Dakota. That's
very Hawaiian-like too.
Yeah. People don't know that, but it's. Yeah. But anyway, I'm developing a theater program at Johns Hopkins University, and it's sort of become a mission for us to do this. So. We had to curtail for a while the Edgar Allan Poe show that I was touring all over. And,
now, I for one was a little surprised when I looked down at the sheet of paper, and you all can weigh in on this. I was surprised when it said 2 years, 64 to 66, the Addams Family was on the air. With reruns, you think that it was just on for 25 years.
Yeah,
it's been rerun forever.
My God.
It throws everybody. Everybody thinks it's, about 10, 12, maybe 20, who knows. But there were, in those days, you did 30, 32, 34 shows a year. So you can put 2 years together and get the equivalent of 3 today, and... it can give the impression that it was on forever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Ken and Lisa were kids, basically, when the show was being produced. But I've always wondered about the writing. Who came up with those wonderful ideas?
Well, to begin with, Charles Addams did those wonderful, sophisticated, witty cartoons of the New Yorker. And I know... when they talked to me about doing the show, I was the first presentation was that I would do the butler. Nobody was named at that time, but they were talking about Lurch, and I was trying to figure out how the hell I was going to do that. But I got a phone call about 2 hours later from somebody who was very quiet in this meeting and said, "I'm the creator of this show. My name's David Levy, and I used to be vice president of NBC, and I put these shows on the air." And so the guy, he was a terrific creative mind, and he said, "This is really Father Knows Best with different people." So
in a different kind of way.
Exactly, and or inexactly, as you will. And so I had about many meetings over quite a few months with him before we ever had a deal. We were just sort of trying to develop the characters. So Charles Addams gave us a paragraph on each, but there wasn't really much in the paragraph. So I decided I'd try to figure out what the cartoons meant, and to make it short, because I'm going to use your whole time, your allotted time. Okay, you guys don't care though.
No, we hear us talk all the time.
Yeah. So, you must have had politicians on lately or something. Anyway, I decided that the cartoons use the device of implied violence, never carrying it out, but implied violence to attack the cliche. Like, may I borrow a cup of cyanide? That sort of thing. And so why is Charles Addams doing this? Well, Charles Addams wants to wake us up to the magic and wonder of life and get us out of our basic rhythm of knowing nothing and just behaving according to habit. And, one of his greatest cartoons is that one of the tree on the snowy slope with ski tracks going on either side of the tree.
Right.
And somebody doing a double take, at the skier down the hill. And that's a little wake-up call.
Now, Ken and Lisa, you were, as I said, children on this. What was it like to be, this was a very popular show, and you got to do great, cool things on the show. Were you like were you studying, on the set, or did you go to a public school and were you, reveled when you
We went to school on the set with a tutor from the Board of Education. Well, actually, she wasn't really a teacher, was she, Kenny?
She was basically a social worker.
A social worker.
Yeah, referee. Referee would be more like it.
For us, yeah.
Sometimes.
And then we got to play and work the rest of the time. They allowed us, 8-hour days?
Well, yeah. We had to be off the set by 6.
Right.
Wow. So
working
in the neighborhood, your friends, the kids you played with, they must have just thought you were great.
Well, it was some of them did, and some of them didn't like it at all, because you have to remember we were among the first group of children actors on television.
Yeah.
So it wasn't commonplace. Now there's a kid on every show. Sure. Back then there wasn't. So it was really out of the ordinary. Not only the Addams family itself, but we were in life out of the ordinary.
How old were you the first year how old were you?
I was 6 to 8. I did the pilot 5.5 and the series from 6 till right when I turned 8.
And Ken?
I was 7 when I was cast, and 10, turning 10 when we...
So you were older than...
Yes, I'm 2 years older.
But you played younger, right?
No.
Pugsley was older than Wednesday?
Yes.
I always thought Wednesday was older than Pugsley.
Well, they reversed the roles for the movie.
In the movie.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
John, run us through a standard week. This was kind of like a sitcom. It was a laugh track, but there was no audience. So this show was shot like a film.
Exactly.
So what was your standard work week?
Standard work week, we'd get together at noon on one day and read a script or two. We'd make a few suggestions or comments, and then that would be in the middle of another week.
Wow.
With those scripts.
Sure.
So then we might start on a Monday morning with script A, and midway on Wednesday we would start script B. And by the Friday we'd have 2 shows in the can.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were cranking then. You were shooting.
Oh, yeah. And then the following week, sometimes we took 3 days. But most of the time, we could do 2.5 days to film the show. Then on maybe the following Monday, we would sit down and look at 2 or 3 scripts. It was the work on the scripts, and we had Nat Perrin, who wrote for the Marx Brothers, was the producer's show. His name isn't on as many shows as it should be, but he did a lot of the writing on the show. And then we had people like Ed James and Seaman Jacobs writing, and lots of very good freelance writers, and of course, Cy Jacobs and Ed James were, some of Bob Hope's best writers, and these were very well seasoned people.
Funny.
This together. Yeah, and the strength was that we had the scripts all ready to go when we started shooting, so we could knock them out. We actually shared a crew with Mr. Ed, which worked the same way. Yeah. And actually, Ken had a dressing room.
Yes, I shared the dressing room with him.
Was a Kleenex's throw from Mr. Ed's stable.
How cool is that?
Did they use electrical? Did they use electrical shock or peanut butter to make your mouth move?
Mine?
Yeah.
Mine was self-generated.
Oh, good.
I just had to think of Carolyn Jones' arm.
There you go.
I could dive into work anytime.
Felix Silas sits here. He played, of course, Cousin It. Talk about, first of all, Felix, the costume itself. It was just nothing but hair, from head to toe.
That's right.
Did it
was-
drape over the head?
It was made like in two different pieces. Like one was like a skirt type, and then they put a wig over my head, and they blended in with a brush and everything, and then
So it didn't take that long to get in it.
no, it was maybe 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And derby hat and a pair of sunglasses, and there I went.
It wasn't your voice that
No,
right?
no, it was not.
All right.
And now you weren't in every show, right?
No, I came in I think it was a number 20th.
Yeah.
So I wasn't up in the beginning, no.
All right, now help us answer this question. In fact, we'll do business. We'll ask the question, and then we'll find the answer when we come back. It's called a hook. We have always
Showbiz
heard,
professionals.
That's what it is.
Hey, I like it.
Yeah.
We have always heard the fun myth that Thing was the actor who played Lurch,
Ted Cassidy.
that it was his hand. Don't answer. We're going to find out if, in fact, that was true when we come back. It's the Mark and Brian radio program, 95.5 KLOS.
The cast member of the Addams Family. There's a brand new DVD in stores today, The Addams Family Volume 1. With us is John Astin, Felix Sela, who played Cousin It, and, of course, Pugsley and Wednesday, Lisa Loring, and Ken Weatherwax.
Okay, so again, the DVD is out today. It's The Addams Family Volume 1. So go back to the question before we took the break. We had always heard the rumor or myth that when Thing would come out, that the hand actually belonged to Ted Cassidy, who played Lurch. Is that true?
That is
Yes.
true.
Yes.
Was it every time his hand, or
Almost. If Ted was in the shot, they had to get somebody else
Right.
because he was good, but he wasn't that good. And, I have a question,
All right.
and we all know this, but was Thing right-handed or left-handed?
I know.
Go.
Well, I was going to say right-handed for sure because I'm thinking of the shot. He came up with his right hand. He was right-handed. Am I?
it had to be left-handed?
Mark and Brian, as usual.
Wait a minute.
let me. How about this? I say he was ambidextrous. He used both hands during the show just
You've
for the
got
fun
it.
of
Ring
it.
a bell for that man. Ring a bell.
That's funny. Did he really?
Yeah. Because depending on, he was not a small person, 6'9", brilliant actor. You had to fit him under a table somehow or behind a piece of furniture.
Wow.
And he could contort, but sometimes he had to use the other hand.
Now, kid, if you're 5 or 6 and you're 10 years old, this 6'9" man walks in, and with that makeup on, obviously looking quite ominous. He must have really had to kind of sweet talk you guys into
He
feeling
was
comfortable
so
around
funny and so gentle and so kind. And he just used to pick me up like a doll, And
Actually, one arm, one hand could
Yeah, he
carry
had
Lisa.
both of us,
Yeah.
I believe, at once.
Wow.
One arm and one of
But he
the
was
other.
great. He was kind.
he was
good.
wonderful.
Now,
man.
I'm also, and I've actually discovered her work in the years after the Addams Family, but the great Carolyn Jones.
Yes.
Please tell me she was a wonderful person to be around.
Absolutely.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody loved Carolyn.
One of my favorite John Wayne movies, McClintock. She was in that. Check her out.
What was she?
Oh, she's great.
Oh, yeah.
She was in the original House of Wax.
That's
Loved
right.
that film.
I saw that in the middle of the night in Minneapolis, Minnesota, when I was in grad school.
She was
But-
TV's MacGyver. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
That shows the strength of the acting.
Yeah, that was a good one. But she was the leading lady for most of the big male stars, myself accepted, of course.
Right.
But no, there was Richard Burton and Frank Sinatra, lots of star power.
With the special effects of the Addams Family, and there were I think it was ahead of its time with special effects that you guys used. There was no live audience, correct?
No.
Correct. Okay, so you're basically, in the laughter we're hearing is a laugh track, which was the thing back then. It is today still. Was it difficult acting, hitting a punchline and getting that timing without hearing that immediate laughter?
No, actually, I tried to avoid the laugh track being used after my lines. I didn't like the and sometimes the editors would say, "Gee, John, would you throw more? Don't throw the line away. We want to put a big plung in there. And I say, "Gosh, guys, sorry, I just forgot." So I and maybe that helped develop the Gomez style because it seemed natural to throw lines away.
When did the Gomez full-on style come? Were you ready? You hit the ground running the first episode because it just seemed that was such a great character. You wanted him to be your friend.
Yeah, after I tried to figure out Charles Addams and came up with this idea of the joy of life. That's what I based Gomez on, and so everything was great. You just lost $8 million in the stock market. Capital. Easy come, easy go.
And also the great running joke of, that's French. And have to kiss the arm.
Yeah, I can remember years after the show had been not off the air, but we weren't shooting it. Carolyn and I remained friends forever, really. And I would call her up and say, Carolyn Sue, I miss nibbling your arm. And she would let go that big laugh of hers. She had a great laugh, would fill the soundstage.
Oh, the hair, the dress. I'm pretty sure, I told these guys, I'm pretty sure she was my first pup tent. Ray, we'll take some calls here. Raymond on line 7. Yeah,
a lot of calls for you.
Raymond, you're on the air.
Hi, how's it going? It's an honor to be on with Mark and Brian, and especially the Addams family.
Right.
Thank you.
I have a question. I actually have one bit of information. A lot of people don't know that the late Ted Cassidy was actually the voice of Superman, the Hanna-Barbera series in 67 to 69.
Oh, wow.
The Incredible Hulk, also. All those Hulk sounds were Ted.
Wow, that's great. And one other thing, too. I was told that the house was actually on Addams Boulevard, and the city of L.A. actually, or the state of California, made that a historic site, that one section where all those homes that look like actually the Addams family. Is that true?
On the very first day of production, a fence with spikes on it was erected around a house on Addams Boulevard. So that exterior shot of the house that's in the show is actually a house on Addams Boulevard. However, the interior in the presentation film was the set of the Unsinkable Molly Brown over at Metro. Wow. And then they decided to duplicate something like that on the soundstage at General Service Studios, which at that time had Beverly Hillbillies, Petticoat Junction,
Green Acres, and Mr. Ed.
And Mr.
Ed. Not to forget
Ozzie and Harriet was there. What else?
Everybody.
There was a show with Juliet Prowse. It was a very active studio.
Now, when the Addams Family went on the air, was it an immediate success? Was it a big success while you were on the air, or did you guys kind of struggle to find a spot?
First overnight share in New York was 61.9.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
So, and it's an immediate hit.
Yep.
Was this on the same time as the Munsters?
Same years.
Same years.
But not...
right, not the same night.
And not same night.
Right. And it was... Was it a war, kind of? Because you were the two creepy shows on television?
Not really.
Yeah.
I don't think they saw it that way. We certainly didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, we were so wrapped up in our thing that...
Sure.
And the shows are really very different.
The Addams Family is more intelligent, sophisticated humor, where the Munsters is more
slapstick-ish. Yeah.
I often thought about Fred Gwynn, wonderful performer, that every shooting day he had to wear that big suit with the boots and that had to be tough.
Yeah. And, not easy, but he brought a lot of richness to inside all that makeup.
Yeah.
He did some very good work. Really.
He absolutely did.
John,
no question.
John, the secret of the already lit cigar out of your pocket. Did you have an asbestos pocket or something, or how did that work?
You got it, man. You're hitting them.
I've always wondered.
It was actually that good old substance, asbestos, that we all like to breathe in the old days. And I can remember the asbestos flakes flying in the air when I was it felt so good to breathe it.
Yeah.
They had a little pocket like that. We'd light the cigar, put it in, and roll them. And
that is
the
great.
cigar out.
That is great. Now, we've always heard stories of actors who come off a really successful television show. The show's been canceled, and then you try to move on to other work, and you've been typecast. Did that happen for you guys, or not so much?
I don't know. I may have been typecast, but you never really know those things. There are probably parts that I would have been able to play, but for the identification with the Addams Family. But the trade-off on that was I always worked. I didn't have. I don't think I went through any period without. Before Addams, I did, but after. I might not have gotten everything I wanted, but I always had employment, so that was no problem.
Well, Felix, you probably had no trouble because you were covered in hair pretty much, so it didn't matter.
I didn't have any trouble because I went to different things, after the Addams Family was canceled. I've done a lot of stunts for children's, and I even doubled Drew Barrymore on E.T.
Did you really?
Yes. Also, I doubled Butch Patrick on The Monster when he fell off the roof flying a kite.
Oh, wow.
And I stood in for Ron Howard on
Andy Griffith?
Andy Griffith, yeah, when he was like 6 years old.
He was my stand-in as well.
I've been around for a while.
Felix is the only person then, I guess, am I right, to have been in both the Munsters and the Addams Family.
That's right, yeah.
What a piece of trivia.
Yeah.
Now, what about you guys? Typecasting for you?
Not for me. I was so young, and take the braids out, and they're really. Then I grew up, and
Right.
unless someone was told, they wouldn't know.
Now, you left acting for like at 11, but you came back and you
Around
spent
17, yeah.
You spent several years on As the World Turns.
As the World Turns, about 5. Did a lot of episodic television, Barnaby Jones, Fantasy Island, commercials, a lot of things like that.
Yeah.
Until
Ken?
I quit.
I ran right smack into it. I couldn't get another job because I was basically no makeup. I couldn't go out in the street. I had a lot of problems with the image. And I guess that's the only negative side of the whole thing of the Addams Family. But by the time I was done with the series, we'd been canceled, I was ready to move on and go play sports and stuff. Because
Go
at
be a
10,
kid.
I was restricted in my activities. I could not even ride a skateboard.
Wow.
So I was ready to go play football and baseball and such. So unfortunately, when you get Pugsley on the team, everybody wants to go tackle him. So it didn't work out.
Oh, man. I never thought of that. That's got to be tough.
Now, you've been building sets for a long, long time.
Yes, I was very fortunate to get back behind the camera because I come from a showbiz family. Both sides of my family. I've been in the business for 3 generations now. And I'm, like I said, very fortunate and blessed to be able to work behind the camera as a motion picture studio grip for the last 30 years.
Great.
And if I don't say hi to all the guys at Warner Brothers, I won't be able to have a day's rest when I go back. So hi, all you guys. Get back to work. It's after coffee. Get on it.
Hey, Ken, tell them about your family, the both sides.
My father is Mac Weatherwax. My uncle was Rudd, who has Lassie, the Lassie dog, and my other uncle Frank had Big Red, Old Yeller. They had.
They trained these dogs?
Yes.
Oh,
we owned and trained them.
Boy,
And,
that's a true Hollywood family there.
all the Weatherwax brothers pretty much divided up Hollywood. They each had a studio or a producer they would work for, and you couldn't work an animal in Hollywood without them.
Wow.
I grew up. My father had dogs in the kennels in the back, and one of my first jobs is, of course, cleaning up after the dogs. And,
geez.
feeding them.
That's starting at the bottom.
Then
yeah.
your Aunt Ruby. Ken.
Well, yeah, mom's side of the family, Ruby Keeler, Al Joseph. My mom was
Wow.
a tap dancer, and they all came to Hollywood to make movies. And,
I
of
don't
course,
know
I
what
had
it
to
is.
stick in the family. I'm the only one who had to run behind the camera. Just really.
And I don't know what it is. I'm sure my partner's feeling the same thing, but we just want to tackle you.
I have learned. I have learned over the years to tackle back.
Good.
Good. That's a good thing to learn. Guys, if we could get one more short break from you, we've got quite a few people on the phone. We'll do business. We'll come back and we'll wrap up with a few more phone calls and talk more about the DVD.
Okay,
Sure.
thank you.
Oh, I spoke French.
Stay where you are. It's the Market Ride Radio program, 95.5 KLOS.
Lisa, this question's for you, and it's from a listener named Wednesday.
Oh.
Wednesday, you're on the air.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Everybody.
Hey.
Morning.
Yes, the first thing people ask me is my last name, Addams.
And
Or
your
where's
first real
Pugsley?
name is Wednesday, huh?
Yes, it really is Wednesday.
You're the second one I've been told that your name is Wednesday. Did your mother name you after Wednesday?
Actually, my father did.
Were you born on a Wednesday?
I was born on a Wednesday as well.
Wow.
Wow.
And they thought that was the coolest thing. So here I am. As a child, I can tell you it was very difficult.
I'm sure.
Imagine.
Yeah, my friends call me Wendy, but
Now,
as an
I get
adult,
called
it's
Wendy
awesome.
all the time too.
Now, especially for you two guys, the two of you played the kids. It's not obviously apparent that you are who you were on the show because you're adults now.
Mm-hmm.
At what point in your life does this conversation come up where you reveal to someone, I was Pugsley on the Addams Family, or I was Wednesday on the Addams Family? When does that come up, or does it?
My friends do it for me all the time.
Do they?
They meet someone new and she's, oh, come on, I have to tell him. Can I tell him, Lisa? Can I? Go ahead. Go ahead already.
That's usually the way it happens.
Yes.
But having worked in the business, eventually I have limited subject matter that I can discuss. So eventually I have to say, in order to validate some of the stories.
Oh, right.
I have to tell them my background.
Well, plus, I would imagine for you that, Ken, that you're on a set and you've got a bunch of actors around you because you're building the sets. And,
Yes.
and I'm imagining at some point it's a big kick to them, the cast,
yes.
to find out that you were Pugsley.
Yes, and it's been a big advancement to my career.
I bet it has.
Negative publicity is not good. Positive publicity is good, and to know that people are watching you and taking notice, it's good politically.
Awesome.
in that
Felix,
business.
this question's for you. Marcia, good morning. You're on the air.
Hi. I just wanted to know, Felix, if you were the Oscar Mayer Wiener Man.
Good morning. No, I was not.
You were not? Oh, you sounded just like him. And my father, who died many years ago, was the Wonder Bread Man, and you knew him for somehow. And so I was just trying to see if you were the same guy.
Well,
Sorry.
I tried to get the job when I came to California in '62, but they were going to send me all the way back to Wisconsin, in which I don't like the cold weather. So I said, why don't you send a single guy to be? I just got married, and so I didn't want to go to Wisconsin, so I didn't get the job.
All right. Well, obviously, we can't get all the phone calls in. But this is the one thing we will say to all of you. If you were a fan of the Addams Family, this is the first time the Addams Family has been professionally released by the company on DVD. This is Volume 1. You get 22 episodes of the first season, plus all kinds of making of and vignettes and behind-the-scenes stuff in the special.
commentary.
And the commentary. It's just great to have that. So go pick up a copy today. And to all of you, thank you all for taking the time off work to come in. And great to see you again, John.
Hey, thanks. It's great to see you guys, and we really appreciate your having us on.
Oh, we wouldn't have missed it. We were buzzed about it from the moment we heard it.
As you are Los Angeles.
Thank you. Very
Thank you,
kind.
guys.
Nice of you to
Thank
say.
you. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We're Los Angeles. Cool.
Addams Family on DVD today.
That's cool.
All right, we'll do business and return. It's the Mark and Brian radio program, 95.5 KLOS.